So you got, people bringing up Gervonta Davis after, the Devin Haney win. I seen Kenny Ellis on Mill City Boxing. He talked about how, Tank and Devin have grown apart. You know what I'm saying? My thing is he was about to fight Jake Paul. He was about to fight Jake Paul. How they grown apart. And the energy clearly shows that the fact that, Devin, like Gervonta never wanted to fight Devin, never believed he can beat Devin. The energy has shifted Shakur, because they was in the same weight class and, but then he didn't want to fight Shakur Stevenson. Everybody was like, man, Shakur, he kind of like, ain't doing what he's supposed to do against lesser fighters. And, we like, hey, this might be the time for Tank to do it. But ultimately, Tank is not a competitor. Tank is not a competitor. And that's just what it boiled down to. He's not a competitor. So say what you want to say. He's not a competitor. His fan base are not competitors. They are LeBron. Let's join D Wade. Let's join D Wade. Let's join Chris Bosh. That's pretty much what his fan base is. They'd rather jump people than shoot the fair one. That's who they are. But it's time to dead that. Tank's retired, right? Tank don't need to fight. Tank need to be stripped of his WBA title. And that's just what it boiled down to. So I literally hate to break the news to people. You know what I'm saying? But it's over with. Let's dead that conversation. Tank will never get the accolades that Devin have. Tank will never have the mindset that Devin has. So us going back and forth about a mythical fight, that's just like, hey, man, what would Aaron Pryor do versus, I don't know, versus, Richardson Hitchison right now? We never fucking know. That's what we talking about with Tank. Tank, he retired. You seen it. You seen it with Errol Spence. I talked about it in another video. Y'all eventually see. Maybe I'll release it on Thanksgiving about more Errol Spence, why he in the doghouse, why he on the shelf. But I said it in that video, like, they try to do some whole shit to Crawford with the Pacquiao fight, and that's why I fell through. We always, just really harp on the bad things that happen to us and what we don't got. In my Bobby Womack voice, remember he said, she always talking about what she ain't got. And but man, we don't appreciate what we got, bro. I'm telling you, we don't appreciate the ability to walk. We don't appreciate the ability to feel, to empathize, to see, to touch, to walk, to communicate. We don't appreciate the ability to have a chance every day. We get a chance to wake up to right our wrongs. We don't value the ability to be able to give, to do things nice, to correct our mistakes, to raise our children. All those are blessings that's bestowed upon you. God don't give you those things unless you can handle it, or they're going to make you better, right? Even some of the bad things I had to learn, they happen for a reason. You can't get too down on yourself. Some doors got to close for others to open up, right? You got to remember that. But and back on point with this shit, Tank need to retire. He was going to take that fight with Jake Paul and retire. Look what they did. Smacked him right on his ass. And it was something that was in his control. You still having whole problems. Nigga, athletes got more whole problems than anything. You learn to deal with women. Some your old man to give you pointers. Your old man not gonna walk you through it. He ain't gonna walk you through it, but he gonna give you pointers. He gonna watch you go through things and he gonna give you pointers. But you really learn female nature from your mother and your sisters and the females of your class. You learn female nature from them. And if you ain't paying, one of the worst traits you can have is not the ability not to pay attention. You can't go into the military, especially you can't be infantry, or you can't be a Green Beret, or you can't be really in the trenches like that, regardless of where you at in the military. Every detail matters. You can't be in the trenches for real. You can't be in the trenches if you don't have attention to detail. If you don't pay attention, that's one of the worst traits you cannot have. You gotta have the ability to pay attention. And that's real spill. That's one of the greatest things you can have, so you can peep game. And if you can't peep game, man, and see how people moving and read body language and read what they doing, you'll never win. That's why you see guys get married or they keep failing with women. You know what I'm saying? You see people continue to choose the wrong friend groups. You gotta peep game. You gotta be able to read the room. Read people, pay attention. If you pay a little bit of attention, Gervonta Davis is just, he ain't that guy. He keep failing. He keep going through the same shit with the same hoes. You know what I'm saying? He keep going through the same shit. The same shit. And he took, and it happened for a reason. He took his retirement off the table. He took it off the table. And the boxing guys, why they did that to him, bro. He tried to do some hoe ass shit like, boy, you gonna forge your legacy whether you succeed or you fail. You're gonna forge your legacy. You're gonna forge it. And I hope they make him eat what he killed. I hope he go out there and have to fight somebody. What he did to Lamar Roach, Lamar Roach probably wanted revenge. Lamar Roach probably wanted to put hands on him. Really, I know how niggas really get down. He did some hoe ass shit. Real shit. He did some hoe ass shit. Let's throw it out on the floor. Lamar Roach probably wanted to hurt that man. I know how niggas get down. He probably wanted to bring that drama to his fucking door. Come on. But guess what? Look at God. Look how God, looked out for Lamar Roach. And should nobody support Gervonta Davis unless he fight Lamar Roach next, Devin, Haney, Shakur Stevenson, or something like that. And when you do hoe ass shit like not Dev, but like Tank doing, now you make Kenny Ellis sound like a hoe ass nigga. Now you make Calvin look like a hoe ass nigga. See, the rest of these guys don't, like these casuals that's around Tank, they don't really know what's going around. And that's how you can tell he ain't no street nigga. Like, I grew up in the street, but I don't consider myself a street guy at all. I can tell you about dope. I can tell you about, how they move and all the shiesty shit they do all day. I made a conscious decision early in my life, like, nah, I'm good. That was the decision that I made. I'm like, nah, for me, it never added up. How come I get in the game with no rules? Regardless, even if it's no snitching and the Sunday truce and shit, ain't no rules in it. Ain't no rules in the game. My mentality was, I'm gonna have to kill everybody, so I'm good. I don't want to be about that. But Tank ain't got the mentality. He don't have the mentality. He ain't built for it. And having a street mentality, you know what I'm saying? It don't mean, he ain't got it. You spit on this nigga, cuss him out, call him out ass nigga, he ain't gonna do shit. He a bitch. That's why that bartender got off on his ass in DC. That's why he got down on that nigga. He don't get no real fucking respect, nigga. None whatsoever. So I don't really care to see him fight no more if he ain't fighting those guys or somebody of that ilk. And that's just what it is, man. So ain't no point in talking about Devin Haney is in a class way above Gervonta Davis. Regardless what your eyes tell you, what Davis beating up on bums and smaller fighters, fucking struggling with Lamar Roach, I don't want to hear nothing about it. I don't want to hear nothing about it. For real. And that's just a goddamn honest truth. I don't want to hear nothing about it. Devin is in a class of his own, brother. He's in a class of his own, or above Tank. So that's when we started to really talk about, you know, the mental side of this shit. Damn, what's going on today? That's when we started talking about the mental side of this shit, man. The mental side. He ain't got it, but hey, it is what it is. Hopefully, maybe he have an epiphany, and hopefully he don't have to move and do shit out of character because he need the money. But that might be what's best. It might bring the best up out of him. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Find me on Facebook, X, Kick, Twitch. Join the Patreon. Appreciate the love, support. Let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. Peace.